Hi, my name is Azure.
My name is Juliet.
My name is Jerry.
I'm Olivia Galley.
My name is Me Too.
I'm Leslie.
My name is Maria.
My name is Mike.
My name is Nicole.
My name is Babita.
My name is Jackie.
I'm Emily Baldwin.
And I'm Ethan Seidel.
This is Danielle.
My name is Petra Baxter.
My name is Emily.
My name is Vinny.
My name is Samantha.
My name is Liz.
My name is Laura.
My name is Emily.
I'm Dana.
And I'm going to talk about my experience with Elaine.
Struggles with infertility.
Physical pain.
Chronic stomach disorder.
I have struggled with a chronic medical condition, and the management of it eludes the medical community.
I was hit by a van.
Relationship was coming to an end.
I had just gotten out of a relationship. I went through a breakup.
Family trauma.
I was trapped in a career that I did not want to be in.
I got a corporate job and everything was going to be wonderful, except it wasn't wonderful.
I had never known what depression or anxiety felt like, but all of a sudden that was something I could relate to.
Strange waves of anxiety.
Anxiety and depression.
Worries and anxiety.
Anxious about things. I've always suffered from anxiety, depression, and insomnia.
I was feeling very lost.
Completely in a fog.
Missing something.
Stuck.
Depressed.
I was at a job that was making me physically and mentally, emotionally sick.
Emotional eating and my sexuality, accepting myself for who I am.
Sad.
Misery.
I became suicidal, and I just wanted out.
There's only so much clinical therapy and, going to the doctor and getting medication that you can handle.
I just thought I have to help myself in some other way than popping a pill.
What I was looking for was specifically someone in alternative medicine who can tap into things that other medical practitioners, counselors, family members, psychiatrists, all those people in our lives that we look to for help, things that they couldn't help me explain.
I'm from a background of different Christian and certain beliefs that cause fear and doubt and distrust in my heart. A lot of the new spiritual practices are considered taboo.
With my background being Caribbean, some of these things and energy healing is taboo for us. Like, no, we don't talk about things like that. You don't have this happening to you. So people with the energy and they think that you're taking over their soul or whatever.
In the media, we always see portrayals of psychics and mediums and energy healers, and they're all woo-woo and crazy and wear long, flowy skirts.
So yeah, I was at the end of my rope. And I was ready to have an open mind and try the woo-woo. So I got a hold of a friend of mine who is attuned to the woo-woo. And I said, check out this woman's website, see what you think. And she gets back to me immediately, and says, go see her right now, go see her. She said, I didn't even have to open up the link. As soon as it came through, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Go see her. She can help you.
I was looking for acupuncturists on Yelp, and Elaine showed up, and I instantly just felt drawn to her.
There was just something different about her.
When I found Elaine, something clicked.
It just felt correct. It felt right.
Her name just stuck out at me.
I had a gut feeling that I needed to do this.
And I knew that, she was the person I needed to see.
This is the person that I wanted to do it with.
I spoke with her on the phone initially, and I honestly can't even express how in tune I felt like she already was with my needs and with what I was looking for and what she could offer me.
The night before our appointment, her energy came through and manifested into very significant dreams that I had.
And then when she called me back, I actually even started to talk to her about my situation, and she stopped me and she said, no. I need you to be a blank slate. Don't tell me about your job. Don't tell me about your situation.
I was terrified this was some sort of hippie bullshit, and I was about to waste a lot of time.
And I was also so certain at the same time that this was exactly what I needed to do right now.
When I met her, I was very anxious because I didn't know what to expect. But then when I actually went into her studio and sat down, I felt a tremendous peace that I had never felt before. It was the most beautiful, wonderful feeling. And it's not like a regular therapy session. It's not like a regular healing session. If you've ever had Reiki done, it's not like a 1-hour Reiki session. This is like, we talked for 7 hours we talked for.
When I met her at the door, very first entrance, I felt overwhelming, beautiful energy, connection, peace, comfort, joy, love.
One of the first things she does is writes down your full name, first, middle, and last. And then you get into it.
It's really important to realize there's no clock on these sessions. Each one is going to be personal to you. And it's just going to take as long as it should.
She was able to explain things in a way that I've always known were true, but I could never quite articulate. For example, I didn't know that I am an empath. And basically that just means that I am a highly sensitive person and that I can physically feel the emotions of the people around me. And there have been so many things that have happened to me or that I've had reactions to in my life that I've never really understood, or I just thought that I was too weak or too sensitive. But from our session, she helped me realize that it's actually a strength and it's a rare gift, and it was so empowering.
I went to her place to talk to her, and we had about a 2-3 hour conversation before we ever did any kind of treatment, which was lovely. And even though I was there for my immediate physical pain relief, because all the other stuff in my life just kind of went to the wayside once I got hit by the van, because frankly, if I wasn't able to walk without pain, it really didn't matter if I was able to go on a date and have a successful one. But in the conversation, we talked a lot about what was going on in every aspect of my life. She gave me some really great insights of what was blocking me from getting to the next level with my business.
At one point she asked if my mother had passed, and I said no, and she said, well, okay. She kind of looked a little confused for a second. And she said, are you going to go out there soon? And I said, well, yeah, not until the beginning of next month. And she said, well, don't be surprised if you go out sooner, like a lot sooner.
We got to the part where we did the Reiki and I laid down, and I remember her telling me just to lay there and just relax and just, kind of bring myself into a different place. And I laid there and I remember her, touching my legs, and I remember these sensations that were like kind of like tingly sensations in my legs. And when she finally came to my chest, my heart, that's where it really, it changed for me. Because once she got to that point, I began to feel heartache. I had no control over my emotions. They were just coming up. And, at one point I started to cry. And I remember I felt like I was starting to get sweaty. But I still had my eyes closed, and I was just kind of going through that feeling, because I know that feeling, very well. I remember I was starting to feel like I couldn't catch my breath. And I began to take rapid breaths. And I wasn't scared, but, I just let whatever happen at that point. And I remember I took one huge breath in. Finally, I took a deep breath. And I remember just letting it go. And I remember feeling this undeniable, unconditional love. And it was just, it's so hard to describe into words what this felt like. But it felt unbelievable. It felt like I was loved no matter what. No matter what.
She laid me on the table and she was pulling all the negative energy out of my body. Like, I can't even start to describe how that feels. I don't even know how long I was laying on the table. I just know that it was an amazing, warm feeling. Like, I felt fuzzy, I felt warm. She put rocks on my body, like on my chakras. She put rocks, and it's funny because she said what never happened. She said the rocks were wet when she finished. And it's weird because when I was laying on the table, I do remember being underwater. Like, my state of mind, I went into like a state where I was actually underwater. I was breathing, and I felt like I was being cleansed in some sort of way, and the rocks came out wet. Like, that's crazy. Like, I was like, what? Like, this is sick.
She started to place her hands on certain chakra areas, and I felt, wherever she placed them, I felt like a vibration of energy flowing through her hands into my body. I could feel this this energy from my sacral chakra coming up through my solar plexus, out of my throat. This like corded energy come up, and I started like dry heaving, coughing, and it didn't hurt, it wasn't painful, but I just randomly started coughing, and then I started laughing, and Elaine was like, that's normal, it should happen, it's fine. After that moment, I just had this peace come over me, and I felt like I had I got rid of all of that corded negative energy from someone else that I was holding on to for so many years.
I got on a Reiki table. Now, I'm a Reiki practitioner myself, and I've had so many different types of Reiki sessions in my life, but the Reiki session I had with Elaine was just so unique and unorthodox that it's impossible to describe. At some point, I felt the crystals vibrating on the different parts of my body, and towards the end, my right side of the body was almost paralyzed in a good way, in which later on she explained to me that it was because she had to clear off so many energy blockages in the right side of the body, which is the masculine side.
During our healing session, she was able to remove from me, it was sort of like almost like an entity, and I felt myself coughing up the energy at the end of the session. It was a life-changing, unbelievable, amazing experience, and it was not scary. So I will advise you to not be afraid if you go to Elaine. There is nothing scary about it at all. It is the most uplifting, enlightening, beautiful experience. She has the ability to sense your pain, and actually she can scan your body for pain, and she actually absorbs it into herself. That is how amazing her gift is. Once she absorbs it into herself, she knows how to transmute that energy, to a higher place.
She also will sort of leave the room at the end of the session and kind of let you kind of ruminate in silence and in, still in the space. And, to me, that's a really great space to be in, because it's kind of like, okay, I'm handing the baton to you now, and now you take whatever energies you can to support yourself in your healing.
The second I went home, I was not only depleted, exhausted, I felt like this was the end. I really felt like I was dying. I was suicidal, basically. It was like, I don't know what I've just done. My life is horrible. It's just over. Everything is over. It was dark. But it was very necessary. Because the next day, when I opened up my eyes, it was the first day that I had not felt any anxiety.
And the weirdest thing was that my throat felt like I was wearing a choker for 2 days. An actual choker. And what Elaine said was that was actually my throat chakra opening and expanding. And I was just astounded at how physical the symptoms were after the Reiki session, and I knew that it was truly working.
The next day, I woke up and I just started crying uncontrollably for many hours. I was very, very emotional, and I could feel the energy literally leaving my body. It was such a, huge release.
And even the next day when I woke up, it was just a moment of clarity. I had a game plan for what was going on in my life, of what to do next, that Elaine helped me put together. I also was just happy and relieved not to be in physical pain. My treatment with Elaine didn't end with those 5-6 hours. She still was really engaged and lovely and warm about making sure that I was okay going forward. And, she was always available through email and phone conversations.
I don't want to sound overdramatic when I say this, but for me personally, that first day I met Elaine and we had that session, it was a watershed moment for me. Things that I appreciate the most about Elaine is that, after the session, she made herself available anytime I had a question. She just kept throwing information at me, and that's been like that now for about 1.5 years.
Anytime when I needed help or some kind of advice, she was just always one phone call or one email away.
She calls me to check up on me the next day, and almost immediately goes, "Oh, I'm gonna have to call you back." I went, "All right," so click, ring, and it's my mom calling to tell me that she thinks that she needs me to come out earlier. I'm cleaning up and I start getting texts from my mother's caregiver, and apparently things had just gotten all of a sudden bad. So so my mother died that night. I grieved, I cried, and I got stuff done. I no longer believe in coincidences. I don't think it's a coincidence that I saw Elaine when I did. She keeps in contact with me. She does remote sessions with me. She even sent me flowers for my birthday. There I am. It's my first birthday without my mama. Who's going to give me a present? Elaine sent me flowers.
When we finished our session, that wasn't the last I worked with Elaine. We did a number of remote sessions thereafter, and which, by the way, is bizarre to me. When she told me that we would do a remote session, I had no idea what that meant. And essentially, I would just lay down. She had given me a stone, and she would somehow connect with me. We would text to make sure we both were aware of the time and that we were ready to go. But beyond that, I really felt her connect and tap in. And that was really neat to see, because unless you've experienced it, it's so hard to explain. But so we did a number of those, and those were also very, very effective. One of the remote sessions, I'd say, was the biggest release that I had. An injury that I had sustained when I was really young, kind of, I think, was clogging up energy in my throat area. And in one of those remote sessions, I completely released it and have been feeling phenomenal since.
And then after several remote sessions I had with her, she'll have you for like 90 minutes just lay down, similarly to how she does in person, but you'll be in your own space. I was able to receive a lot of her energy through that too, and as a consequence, I was able to uncover a ton that I was holding back and holding in. I was able to tap into who I was in my past life, and it sounds kind of crazy, but I was able to re-experience certain things. I was able to remember my birth experience in this life, and then my birth experience from my past life, and then also remembering a very pivotal part in my past life that made me extremely emotional.
I have to tell you, everything is different. More than 100% different. My life is flipped upside down, and everything that didn't work in the past is no longer. And the changes are monumental and all positive. I'm not afraid to rock the boat anymore, and I'm not afraid to share my truth. Financially, Elaine gave me advice in terms of my business, and I stuck to it even though I was scared. And she was right. I have never been more busy in my life than this month. And I have never made as much as I have in only 2 weeks of this month, ever.
Everything in my life now is connected. The pains are fading off. Each day is better and better and better and better.
Before meeting with her, I had met with a gynecologist because I was having these weird phantom pains in my pelvis, and I didn't really know why. I thought that maybe something was wrong, and I come to find out it was totally sacral chakra related. It had nothing to do with any type of true, I guess you could call it tangible, visible illness. It was really energetic. And so that is Elaine's focus, and that is really what she does, is help her clients to figure out what is it that is causing this dis-ease, disconnect in the body, in the mind. She really does fit her role as a crime solver, because I don't know if I would have figured that out if I hadn't met with Elaine.
I think we did maybe one more session before I left for Moscow. And again, the pain just kept dropping.
I had this really sharp pain in my head that stemmed from my head hitting the pavement when I got hit by the van. And I walked out of the appointment without a single thing in my head hurting me, which was phenomenal.
I am by far the most changed person I think I know.
I'm happy. I'm peaceful. I'm able to think clearly. It gives me more confidence. It makes me feel empowered instead of powerless, instead of purposeless.
I can honestly say that my session with her changed my life. It's opened a new, incredible chapter that is just light years more evolved and happier than ever before.
I find a pretty big shift in my personality where I'm okay with what is. I've let go a little bit.
Now looking back, the session was really a turning point for me. I feel so much different than I did walking into her office.
Nothing that I was worrying about before I entered that apartment was on my mind. Everything that I needed to do, I knew what I needed to do, and I just was like, I can't wait to get started.
This treatment with Elaine wasn't like some of, the acupuncture or craniosacral that I've done in the past where I feel like I have to keep going back. This one was enough to sustain me, to make me feel in control and me know what to do and me feel like I've let go of what I need to let go of and know how to not let some of those same habits creep back in.
My business has been on a roll. I mean, she has given me a lot of life lessons when it comes to business and how to make sure you match up energetically with all the clients I see, and it's really helping.
I've started to build my feng shui business called Phoenix and Rose.
We are starting a wellness business. Because of this amazing journey that we've been on, we want to share all of the amazing resources that we've come across since our session with Elaine. And without her, we would have never gotten unstuck. We would have never made health and happiness a priority. We would have never gotten really valuable answers and information that has helped our quality of life. And then, most importantly, we would have never started on this path that led us to actually leave our jobs and start a business to help others become the happiest and healthiest versions of themselves.
Her support gave me the courage to finally make up my mind and follow my calling, which is energy healing. So following our session, my energy healing business, Jewel's Healing Garden, was born.
I had started my own business from the encouragement of that session and Elaine. So that's amazing. It's called Heart of Healing and Reiki with Courtney.
After meeting Elaine, even though there was some resistance at first because of fears, I decided to leave my 9-to-5 job, which was a really big step and a big leap of faith, and start a healing practice. My heart is really open to helping women of color to work through a lot of the issues that have been just embedded generationally in our experiences.
She can see energy, she can see things, she can see patterns in your life that you can't identify because you're so stuck in your own crap. But she has a very elevated point of view, and she can see it, and she can help you to make those changes immediately. But you have to be willing to do the work to make it work.
She is empowering people to be their own advocate for their own health, to be their own healer.
Once you get this job done, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to keep it that way. You know, be careful of your thoughts, be careful of your actions, be careful of your judgments. Cleanse your mind. Stay deep within yourselves and really keep that space clean. Because, you know, the work is sacred.